afternoon. Thank you so much for being here to our Masterclass. This is the second in our series in the piano strings program. Next week, we will have the Takash Quartet giving a Masterclass. This is an open lesson. The pieces that are going to be worked on today are very much work in progress. Today, we have works by RESPIGHI, PROKOFIEV, and RAVEL. The first piece, a sonata in B minor by RESPIGHI, was written in 1917, which will be followed by PROKOFIEV's sonata in D major. And this was written in 1943. It's actually a sonata that was originally written for the flute and the piano. And it was then transcribed, arranged for violin and piano. And then third is the Ravel sonata. And this is a sonata for violin and cello. And it's not the traditional violin-piano or piano-violin sonata, but it's a sonata written for two strings. And this was written between 1920 and 22, dedicated to Debussy. So thank you very much for being here, and let's get started. Thank you so much. That was great. That was wonderful, beautiful. I love the sense of the poetry that you had. So actually, just a couple of thoughts, ideas, one technical thing perhaps. And I'm just wondering how much you sing with your left hand and how much you sing with your right hand. And do you have an answer for that as I open my violin case?
Primarily with the right hand and just enhance the left hand is what I hope for.
Okay, I actually feel that your vibrato actually is an effort to sing, yeah? And sometimes I feel that it's maybe doing its own thing, yeah? And since we're in this large space, I just want you to start again and actually make an assessment. Imagine 1 year out to be as far out as you can. And then see how it's coming out. And if the vibrato actually is supporting the kind of sound you want, yeah? Or it's kind of doing its own thing. And also for the right hand, actually, I know that you're trying to have very nice, very, very smooth, very legato stroke, which is beautiful. But actually, sort of mid-level, mid-length to shorter, something a little bit more spoken like that, to actually really embody the articulation, embody the color that you want in the right hand. Yeah, so rather than trying to separate, but to it feels like that to me. So, and then also the first thing I said about the vibrato. So let's try to do these two things actually out and try it. Yeah, so start again. Okay, so as you start, even so don't just let's just, your body's doing fine, as the cue is very clear, but can you embody that character, that feeling already in the way you're actually feeling the right hand? It's not to do so much, but it's to feel it. Yeah? Okay. Yeah? Yeah, so again on the right hand. Yeah? And then what kind of sound do you envision actually for the first note? What kind of vibrato, what kind of resonance does it have for you? Yeah? And make sure you're checking that. So it's not just about what we want to do. I think you have great ideas. You always do. Yeah, you're very musical, very sensitive. But then it's a little bit like in theory. Yeah, you're thinking you have to do this, and you're trying to do it. And I think you're doing it. It's just maybe not in the right balance of things. I think we were talking a little bit about that in the last lesson, too. So it's important to assess, how is it coming out? Is this really working? Yeah? Okay, so what about yeah, so again in the right hand, embody the character, whatever you're thinking of in the right hand. So I see, your general technique setup all is fine, it's good. And that's good, but in order to get all the ideas out that you have, I think you need a little bit more sensitive sort of touch or thoughts that go inside your hand. So you're actually it's a little bit of character change, right? And when I watch you, your hand movement doesn't quite change. Yeah. So imagine what is that energy? Feel that energy in the right hand. You want to go? Second sequence. Yeah, and pa. Yeah, so then what you're doing is that you're not going ta, pa. That's what you want, right? So I see in your hand that it's a complete release. You have ta once you have the attack. But I think what you have as an idea is that keeping it a little bit more alive, right? So see if you can actually embody that again in the hand. and then release. Yeah, go ahead. Okay, and again, embody it. Okay, embody it a little bit more in the fingers. Yeah. It's a lot of this. Yeah. How is it different the third time for you? So you have the 3 sequences, right? So there's a third time. How is it different for you? How would you like it? Just I'm not so sure if I understand your idea.
Maybe more traveled, more experienced, maybe deeper.
Okay, and how do you create this deeper sound?
More pressure from the fingers.
How about the way you feel it in your arm? Do you feel it? Sometimes you feel it in the fingers, sometimes you're going to have to feel it in the inside of the arm. The inside of the arm creates perhaps the fingers actually keep it lighter, right? And then the sound, feeling, it's not to press, actually, it's less pressure. It's the feeling in the hand of inside the forearm. Okay, so can we try from actually, so in sequence we hear, yeah, and then, so you bum, 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 so I see your hand go, kind of that. That's the sound we're getting. That's right. Yeah? Okay. Now here. That we can create sound that is powerful, yeah. I try as much as possible to stay away from pressuring and pressing, yeah, because we know that it doesn't actually have that effect of getting it loud. It just sounds pressed and ugly and not pretty, right? It doesn't actually project. So what I try to do is actually think of ways where that contact, yeah, is really, really, that magnetic field is so strong. And that's not going to come just from the right hand, in fact. When you actually could feel the pressure from both sides, yeah? Right now, I don't feel much sort of consistency in the left side, and not the fingers, but the violin. Violin is like a floor, yeah? And you're almost making the, like the floor kind of hollow at the moment. I want a solid, good, solid, vibrating floor, yeah? Doesn't create, eh? So actually the violin meets in the way with this very solid thing that supports the bow. The bow actually is heavy enough that it actually doesn't get sort of pushed away. Yeah, so that there's an excellent contact. Okay, let's go from, that was a nice color change you had there, so. Okay, and assess it for a second. Where does it go? Where is your sound going? Where do you want it to go? And how do you want that sound to get there? Okay, is it sort of a sound that's going to surround? Or is it a sound that's going to project and go more piercing at whatever point that you want to bring the sound to? Yeah? So it's up to you. There's no yes or no or a right or wrong answer. It's what you want, but be specific. Yeah? Good. So beautiful. Good. So actually that was really such a solid, powerful sound. Yeah. Without the sound being choked, which comes from pressing too much, right? So I actually want to, just in the interest of time, I like to skip a little bit and go to the next section. Dum, bum, bum, da, da, dum, bum, bum. And in the beginning, it's great. We have this rhythm going on. Dum, bum, bum, da, da, dum, bum, bum. That kind of takes care of itself. You know, you keep yourself engaged because by doing things, you're getting engaged. But then you start to have long notes. Dum, da, da, da. What happens? What can you actually feel as subdivisions? What character does a subdivision have, and subdivisions, you know, have here? And if you could actually, rather than just playing a long note, yeah, sort of the long note is sitting on the subdivisions, whatever that subdivision it is that you want, okay, with character. So if we could actually keep engaging the long notes, that would be good. So dum bum bum from there. Okay, dum bum bum da da dum bum. The difference between going from the E to the A, dum pa, what does that mean to you? I mean, why does he go dum bum dum da da dum bum bum? He could have easily gone dum bum bum da da dum bum bum, but okay, that's kind of boring. But so why did he do it, right? Can you make that much more enhanced? Whatever was sort of behind the scenes, so to say, inside the mind of the composer, yeah. Okay, so that was good. Yeah, all these held notes actually. Yeah, I think you could find probably a little bit more variety in some of them because then they're always doing a kind of a crescendo, yeah, inside. And it doesn't have to be. It could be also be a little bit more flexible inside. You know, you begin at the same time, you end at the same time. Inside is more flexible. Yeah? That's a very important thing that we have in music, that it's not just metronomic. It has logic of regularity, but the inside of that regularity is flexibility, right? So anyway, this was good that you had a diminuendo, but all the other ones coming up after that, there's a kind of a crescendo. So think of how with the subdivisions you can create a different kind of a crescendo, not just simply always going towards the end. Yeah, and then also remember about the solid floor that you're going to create. Yeah, so otherwise you're kind of flying, you know, it's like a sort of trying to catch a fly, and then the fly is going all over, we can't. And it's so much easier if the fly is stationary, right? Yep. Yeah. So in order for the bow to catch, yeah, okay, you want to be solid on the left. So there's always this release I'm hearing, basically. Yeah? Could some of them be more connected, at least one of them, instead of lifting basically without any kind of a pitch? You're always doing that at one point, something like that. Yeah. Otherwise, just see the big picture. Okay, don't look at one idea at a time. Look at the larger picture. See how your ideas are all put together and if they make sense together. Yeah? Okay, and then just, yeah, okay, go the same thing, easier. Keep thinking about that. That was definitely, interesting and different, and it kept us engaged. Yeah, when things start to repeat, you kind of lose us. Yeah, and maybe it doesn't happen so easily in the beginning of a piece, and we're still towards the beginning of this, 4-movement sonata. But actually, if you could always think about that, it's a good practice. Okay. Now, when you this really nasty place. Okay, don't panic. And actually, think you actually have more time. Yeah, da-da-da-da. And again, don't forget to think about how you want the sound to be projected, sound to be traveling to wherever you want. It's kind of sort of falling short of that. And here, da-da-da-dum, I would try to actually circle, that space. And da-da-da-dum, and then da-da-da, da-da-da. I think we'll make it a little bit too difficult. Da-da-da, it will kind of shrink us if you try to go pointing at it. So try to actually circle and circle. Yeah, why don't you go from like 2 bars before? Yeah, and da-da-da-da, that you have even more time. And if it turns out to be a little bit behind, you're alone. Okay? There's not going to be an ensemble issue. Yeah? But I just want you to be able to feel a little bit more confidence and a little bit more room to be able, in other places you're thinking about the music and there's so many ideas, and sometimes you have so many ideas that it's not enough time for everything to come out. Here, the music is missing. Yeah, and ta-da-da-da, it's actually ta-da-da, it's rather singing at the top. Yeah, even though there's a little punch of an accent. Yeah? Okay. Okay, and then that was good, so we're going to go on, okay? So in this, what are you feeling inside the note?
More expansion.
Yeah, and the subdivision?
In 4.
Yeah, and the character? Da, 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 da. I would actually, okay, so of course it's 4/4, it's in 4, yeah. But the subdivision, this is a musical sort of interpretive subdivision that we're trying to do. This is not about counting so much, but it's to feel what's inside the note. It's a little bit of sort of a technique of trying to see what we can get out of a note. Try 16th notes, yeah, and try actually da 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 da. And you can hear the difference when you go subdividing tum pum pum versus num pum 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 da 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 da. They always end up sounding differently as you're playing along. No, so it's up to you to decide what you want to do, yeah. But where would you like to start from? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and then even that sort of is like Leah. So it's not a retard, but it gets fatter. Yeah, it gets a little bit. So think in terms of the subdivisions. Yeah. Okay. Good. That's very different, and had this sort of pull that I liked so much. Yeah, there's something that's actually a little bit crying in that. Yeah, and that I thought was very beautifully done. Now, something about this, when you have this, you've been going kind of fast bow, yeah, and which way do you want to move in order to trick your mind, so to say, trick your mind to feel that you have a longer bow, right? Yeah, so don't forget. And when you do that, don't let the sound go hollow. Yeah, keep that contact, so the floor moves with it too. Right? Embody. Subdivision. Okay, good. So the subdivision for the second one, I would still be in 16s and but maybe a little bit drier. Yeah, whereas the first one, you can use all kinds of imagination, how you feel inside of the sound. Yeah, and that makes actually a difference in the color. Let's go from, and you start this new idea, new phrase, yeah? And, I mean, we've heard it before, but here in this context, it's new again, it's starting something. How would you actually, if you were just starting there, how would you start? the melody. Okay, and how would you sing without actually playing? Would you just da 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 da, right? Can you breathe as if you're singing it? Yeah. Okay, good. So let's do that in context, yeah, and then we'll go on. Feel wider. Breathe like a singer. Embody. Floor. Breathe. Subdivide. Another subdivision coming up. Yeah, and da-da-da-da-da. Again, you have more time. Da-da-da-da-da. It actually, if you go kind of easily, da-da-da-da-da, it loses power. So actually, sometimes making it sound as if you're actually making extra effort, maybe even struggling a little bit, makes it more of an impact. Yeah, da-da-da-da-dum, da-da-da-da-dum. Easy, that kind of sort of goes. And there is, composers actually use that very well. When they put more notes, that actually sounds usually more exciting. Why? It's not because it's faster only, but because there's more effort. That is, the composers seek out more energy from inside us. Yeah? So don't make it so easy in this case, just to show how much you're using that energy to squeeze everything into that beat. Okay, so let's just do the, and then when you have first time, so that's one way of subdividing inside your head. Maybe in 8, bum, bum, ba, da, 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 da. In the second one, it's different, yeah, in 16 feet. That's right, yeah. Otherwise, it kind of goes over our heads. Okay, good. I think we need to stop for now, but any questions? No? Okay, good. Well, thank you, and we can continue another time. Thank you. Bravo, both of you, beautiful, amazing, really great. So thank you. Wow, this is actually such an exciting end to this three-movement work. It's just so much drama. It's a little bit over the top, right? And I think maybe that is actually an important point. And yes, over the top, but I think we still need to have some kind of sort of more and less, right? And where is your, I mean, just for the audience, I would say, you know, it's not very often that we see triple forte, but to see quadruple forte written. Yeah, it's actually, it happens in this at the end. And yeah, it's certainly a very dramatic, demanding, actually, work. But anyway, so where is your sort of emotional high point? Yeah, and I know it's like go, go, go from the beginning, yeah, from this movement. But we need to find some kind of definition. We need to find some kind of organization that always, you know, is important. We try always in music not to have, you know, Peter and the Wolf, you know, problem. And so that when we actually really want to make a point, that we can make a point, right? So where do you want to make those points? And actually, fair enough, you know, it's not just one place. Right? There's an emotional climax. Maybe it's the volume-wise climactic point. Maybe a couple of those, yeah. But there's so much that we as listeners can also take. And you have to actually be a little bit kinder to us and help us actually kind of really be able to grab all these, the hills and the valleys and the mountains and all kinds of things. Right now, we're all like, from the beginning to the end, just big, 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 except for the middle part, which actually the middle part, the very, very lyrical passage, I think it should be even more so. And maybe even there in that section, there is sometimes a little bit quicker. It starts a little bit quicker and it gets even slower. Yeah, but I felt almost as if it just didn't have any more of that effect because it was already so slow. But anyway, so okay, iPad, I can't quite find the movement. Okay, so tell us actually, where do you want
the emotional climax
yeah.
is at the lento.
Yeah, so that's the very, very end, yeah? Or are you talking about that one? Oh, the lento.
Yeah, the lento.
Just show it to me in your music. Yeah, okay. No, okay, that's fine. And then where's your most exciting climax?
Probably here at the very end.
Okay, and your fastest, not fastest in terms of just the actual speed, but the sense of speed, yeah? The impressions you give.
Here. The top here.
Uh-huh, okay. So then, so then it's sort of thinking about this, and most of it is coming not at the beginning, yeah? So this fastest. So how do you have to start in order to make these effective?
Give the illusion of grand.
Yeah. And then also, you know, yes, it asks for each variation slightly faster in the bulk of the beginning. Just be careful. Where's your fastest point in terms of the tempo, okay? So they...
più presto.
Yeah, right. So then what is that going to be? And then think backwards.
Yeah.
Always we have to think backwards, yeah? And so where do you start? And really the most difficult one is going to your first slightly faster. Right. Yeah, if you do too much there, then it's a lost cause. Yeah? Okay, so I won't have you play the beginning. It's just so much energy. Yeah? It's just exhausting just to play. There's so much sound, yeah? And also what you can do with the impression of more and less in the way you handle rhythm. I think that's an important point, right? But anyway, so maybe just a couple bars before the violin comes in. First of all, I want you to feel much taller, much longer arms, much longer bow, much bigger instrument. Yeah, and I feel the sound to be a little bit too contained. I want it to be open. I want it to be going out. Yeah, so sideways, not sort of down, not massive right here, but just going out. Feel the pull. Yeah? You have to really use your arm to go sideways, yeah, and also this way. Yeah? Okay, so just Ta da ta ta. Each of them ta 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 ta. If you're going to say ta da ta ta da ta da ta ta, there has to be a meaning for every note that you play. It's not always going to be the same meaning. It's not always going to be the same importance of a meaning. But there is no ta 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 ta. It becomes almost like, I don't know, just rhythm. Yeah, and then ta ta ta. You're singing beautifully. Ta 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 ta. There, it's a little bit of a hole there. Yeah. So keep yourself engaged. Keep yourself listening. And then ta. Which of the intervals do you want to explore further to actually how you're getting to the next note? It's an easier going from one note to the next. Thank you. Let's hear it. Okay. Still feel the also the meter in 3. You're not that difference.
Yeah.
Which one, because of the intervals, it does something different, into our emotions, right? I mean, the thing is here, you're going to have to actually enlighten us, the listeners, with what your emotional reactions are to all these intervals, to the rhythm, that in fact that you have to squeeze in all these notes, and then the sforzando, and all these differences. What is it doing to you? Can you be even more aware of what the music is doing to you? And then can you enhance them? And then by doing that, you are going to enlighten us.
Yeah.
So we kind of go inside your emotional life.
Sure.
Yeah? Okay. Not too fast. It's getting da 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 da. The first bar is great. Is da 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 da. Go from the beginning of the variation, yeah. And then don't let it sort of like get too fast, yeah. And then by the third bar, you were starting to rush, especially when you have the crescendo. You try to actually get fast, so pull it back. And then where are the places where there's more direction, and where are the places where you actually want to then hold back,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so da 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 dum pum pa. Here, intervals are going to play an important role in this. Yeah, it's so romantic and so many wonderful harmonies. Yeah, but the intervals really dum pum pa. Da 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 dum pum pa dum pum pa dum pum pa dum pum pa. And that kind of tells you that it needs more time. Yeah, so it needs more time, or it's a place where you could actually pull back. Dum pa da 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 da. Also. Huh? Just for the sake of just trying out this idea, yeah, and it's very difficult to sort of, play, stop, and work like this, but we have to. So just to try it, and you can see how it works when you play it through the whole thing. But is there any way, you're handling these 16s and ta-ta-ta, exactly the same articulation pretty much. Is there anything you can do to give a sense that you're getting more and more without actually getting louder, but with the way you handle the articulation? Ta-ta-ta, ta-ta-ta, da-da-da, da-da-pa. All these are different, right? And also not just what you do with articulations, but you also can actually imply that something you're not going to actually do, but just in your mind. Yeah, da 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 da. Good. Okay, just actually, can you skip to the next da 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 da? Yeah, maybe just 2 bars, maybe before. Yeah, okay, so the poco red and whatever, yeah, it's good, it's not too much time, yeah. Often, you see red and you get overly excited and just dismiss whether it's poco or molto, yeah. And so this was really good that it's not so much time. But when you come in, what is sort of the gesture that you want? Exactly. Yeah, and da-da. Can you do that musically? You're going da-da, da-da, da-da. Maybe even more, yeah? Da-da, yeah? So you're just sort of doing it, yeah? Okay, so you probably will have to anticipate the excitement of it. So this is actually, so with this shift and all that. And so you anticipate a little bit, and then for having come in just a minuscule earlier, it gives you extra time. And what is the role of a syncopated rhythm here? Does it push or does it actually pull? Both, yeah. So when does it do when? Okay, you don't have to verbally explain it, but right now I can't quite tell what is doing when. Yeah? Okay, can you be a little bit more direct with your listeners? Yeah, don't actually, even physically, yeah, don't actually push them away, but can you actually go to them? You get that high note beautifully. It's in tune, it's great. But then you kind of come away. You kind of sort of push them away. Go to them. So not clear. That was great. The second half of it, you have this functions, the syncopation functions as to push. That actually is a little bit more expansive, right? Yeah. Good, that's beautiful. That's, these long notes that you have, from the second sequence on, could it have a different diction? Yeah, and so it's beautiful, it's speaking out and all that, but it has to have a slightly different shade, slightly different meaning to the note. Yeah, it's now just everything singing, but it's kind of an abstract singing. Sure. I want a little bit more specific emotions. Yeah, okay. Here. So we had this kind of heated, of course, everything is very expressive, very romantic, very exciting, all the appassionato and all that. But here we had and then push, the syncopation, the idea of the syncopation, right? And then now you have, with these running notes in the piano, you have something a little bit more melodic. And Can you make that happen? Your ideas are there, just I think maybe sometimes physically also in the way you're approaching the instrument kind of goes against.
Sure.
Yeah, and we move actually. Our body, has to move to reflect the phrase. It has to help us communicate. It has to help us shape the phrase, get our meaning across, not to actually get away from the listeners and not to actually do something that's contrary to what we want to do musically. So if you want to soar, what does that mean? What does that embody for the body and for the bow and for the left arm and the right and everything? So maybe 2 bars before. Yeah, be careful about when your body moves to your left side. Yeah, because and also with the F holes where the sound is coming out, yeah, you're kind of taking it away. And this actually is just this size, but there are other places where it's going to be much wider. Yeah, and then your sound is going to actually sort of sway. Keep the F holes actually focused a bit more. And the is a yeah. Try to soar over them, not over the piano. Yeah? What is the character here?
Like poking fun, joking.
Yeah,
So,
it's a little sort of scared. I mean, it's panicking a little bit. Yeah. And these sort of metronomic numbers, it's relative. It's an idea. It's a ballpark number. Yeah. It's not so absolute in my mind. Look, we play in different acoustics. Yeah. Different halls have different sounds, and sometimes it's very dry, sometimes it's very live. And you know that you have to adjust the tempo, right? Yeah, just so slightly. You retain the character. Yeah. So I think don't take it. Just as soon as we see the number, we try to stick with it. Don't worry about the number. Let's get the character out. Yeah, it's light, it's joking, yeah, it's humorous. Can you just do it by yourself right there? And you can actually, you're trying to get to the piano so quickly. Take your time. Yeah. Okay. How much sort of off the string do you want? Okay, and actually, if you're going to do that, this is a technical thing, but try to see that you're going across A string, E string, right? So try to have the A string, E string more parallel to the floor, yeah? And if it's angle, it's very difficult to control the right, yeah? It's sort of the weight is in the long distribution, right? So find that balance, yeah? Yeah? Yeah, and feel just in the fingertips. It's not the joints, but it's literally the fingertips. Feel the rhythm. Yeah, this end. Yeah, but not the joints. It's not this. Yeah, it's just feeling. It's just sensitivities and just feeling it, not doing it. Yeah, I see a lot of movement. I mean, it's not so much of this, yeah? And it's almost like it's doing this right now, yeah? So there's a little bit less movement so that you can keep everything intact, yeah? Okay, can you have it even? Okay? Yeah, okay. And eventually you want to get to a place where you don't have to be looking. That's better, but much better. Yeah, okay, it's for coordination and then the notes and all that. Yeah, you might feel uncomfortable doing that in the beginning, but try to actually get to that stage where you're not looking, because also when you start to look, you're in the wrong angle, and then actually the weight distribution is changed, which makes it even more difficult.
Sure.
Yeah? You want this to be as sort of solid, comfortable, easy. Yeah? Not to have the sort of the weight going in the wrong place, like somewhere else. Yeah, this is the focus. Where the hair is going to touch, that's the focus. Okay, so just by yourself again. No. Okay, don't look. Good. Yeah, okay, that's better. It's still a little bit, I think you're trying to force the sound, but it's better. Okay, so let's do it together with piano. Yeah, 2 bars before. Okay, so we know that, but can you shape it also? The fact, that's inside of a long line. Let's get the long line first, yeah? Right at the P presto. Okay, and here actually it's an exchange. There's a very clear exchange. What are you talking about, and how are you exchanging? Yeah? Okay, so good. So this is actually really sort of intense moment, yeah? What can you do? And I'm not going to ask you to play louder. You don't need to, yeah? You don't want to, yeah? But how can you create this sense of tension? Yeah, it's how you feel, how you feel the inside rhythm. Yeah, don't go bam. Yeah, you're doing a general imprint of the rhythm. Yeah, general imprint of the bow strokes. Now actually feel the notes inside. Yeah.
2 before.
Yeah, sure. What's interesting, at least for the violin part, this combination, of course, is interesting, but at least for the violin part, what interests me is ta-da-ta-da-ta-da. Yeah, this sort of syncopated slur 2-note fragment, ta-da-ta-da-ta-da. I would actually bring that out more and to, again, enhancing it. You are doing it, but you need to make it that much more clear to the listeners. Yeah? So just bar before. Predicting what happens next. Okay, good. Okay, and be careful here, not too slow, yeah? The problem with Andante is usually it's too slow. Yeah, it becomes more like an adagio, yeah? Just do from 3 bars before, and then predict, yeah? By the time you're in know that it's coming, what's coming, how you want it. Feel the 3. Pick up. pickup. Low point. No vibrato. No vibrato. Now. Make sure you're communicating. Breathe. And very free as you want. Feel the three. Ta 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 ta. Yeah. Okay, so there are a lot of things that have to happen, sort of imagining, predicting, actually, and feeling the meter of the three. So it's not three beats. Which ones are pickups? Which ones are not pickups? Yeah, those are important issues, especially in the slower section. Otherwise, it actually is so slow and ends up being kind of too static. Yeah, and then so the pickups obviously push the music a little bit. Yeah, the intervals also play a part. Yeah, harmonies, but that actually harmonies, intervals, they play a part everywhere. Yeah, and then we were talking about this. I was trying to say you were playing. Maybe delay the vibrato a little bit and let the piano sort of start. Yeah. Okay, so we have to stop. But any questions? You understand about sort of just communicating and then getting it out, yeah? And not to just do it in theory? Yeah. Okay, so anything?
For later, maybe.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you. Yeah, very, very good. So I enjoyed it very much. Yeah, what can we say about this? You know, Ravel is an amazing composer for me. I never actually sort of failed to be mesmerized by how well he knows any instrument. I mean, he certainly knows very well for the violin. And it's not just writing well for the instrument, but he really understands, I think, you know, how to use our instruments, right? So he might use a harmonic, and it's not just playing a harmonic, for example, but he utilizes that color and just, it's so, I don't know of any other composers that really know how our instruments work so well. Yeah, many composers write well for our instrument, for any of the instruments, and whatever instrument it is, but it really, he seems to understand how to use it and how to bring them. It's a showcase not only for the player, but it's really for the instrument as well. So I think we need to think about that a little bit. Yeah. So for example, yeah, the harmonic. Yeah, like in the beginning, how is that different from an actually played note, right? Can we actually bring that out? Or even the pizzicato. So why pizzicato, right? Why not just a rolled chord? Yeah. Or when he uses actually like open fifth, open strings. Yeah. It's creating a certain kind of a character of the sound, and because of that, the character. And so I think we can actually just sort of start thinking about these things. And the other thing, you know, I'm always fascinated with these composers, Ravel, Debussy, even though Ravel wasn't French, but, you know, the so-called the French, yeah, composers group. How, you know, actually, how I relate that to the idea of water, right? And it's not just sort of titles actually having some kind of a connection to water, but even the way you look at the score and you kind of see the waves of the water in the way he's writing, right? And it's actually an interesting thing to know. And when you think about water, how much clarity do you want to have? You know, the notey sort of clarity. Da, 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 da. It's like the water flowing. Yeah? So let's start from the beginning. Okay, can you not accent someone in one sort of gesture? Okay, can you make the harmonic really ring even more? Let the cello actually just take over the ring, the resonance. Can you just give us just the first note? Can you make it ring even more? Make it as harmonic as possible. Yeah, right. That's a very special ring to it. Okay, and Sophia, I still ta da 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 ta da ta da feels a little ta da. Think of the water, ta da da da. It's flowing, yeah. Okay, and then, okay, so Sophia, now your turn. Harmonic, how can it ring? Let the violin do its thing with the harmonic, just the first note. Okay, does it have, I think it's a little bit less, there's a little bit of a, sort of a stroke that actually is, harmonic doesn't have that tension, right? Especially on the violin. It's a little bit different ring on the cello, but it doesn't have that capacity to go loud, soft. In the way, it's just one. I think you're adding something that's not quite there, yeah? Just do the melody. Yeah, and then so the 2/8 notes, of course, stroke-wise, it's quarters, and all these quarter-length strokes, and sometimes within that stroke you have 2 notes, sometimes 1. Yeah, can you make that difference when you have 2 notes per bow, and even though it's the same length, when you have 1 note? So, okay, that's separate because it's two beats. Yeah, and then that's the shortest yet. That's an 8. Yeah, and then right? That's actually the bar and a half. Yeah, 3 in a row of the 2/8 notes. Okay. So can we go from a little bit, pick up to 1, yeah? And make use of that harmonic on the cello too. Okay, can you do it with that accent? It's a little bit too much of an accent. So do this inside the water. Yeah. Yeah, and have you practiced actually how you transition from one part to the next? Yeah, between the 2 instruments, yeah? And maybe what it is that often we don't want to take the time after we start an idea, after we start a phrase, after we start a sequence. But sometimes to set it up, we take a little bit of time beforehand, right? And so maybe to segue this into, for example, number 2, where we are right now, to make it a little bit smoother, that means that you might have to take a little bit of time before. And then once it starts already, it's on the way back, it's going. Yeah? So let's try the same thing, yeah? Okay. It's not to slow down so much, but it's just to taper off a little bit. Yeah, to give room for the entrances of each of the instruments. Just a little, it's not something we hear so much as slowing down. It's just sort of a smooth transition. Yeah. Let's go from what's a good place? You want to go right at 2? Can you do like 2.5 bars before 2? Yeah. Da 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 da. This whole movement, that most of the movement actually has in either in the violin or the cello, there's not this arpeggiated or da 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 da, this idea of the waves, right? And can the waves, think of imagining, what kind of wave it is. And sometimes it gets a little bit rougher. Sometimes it's just sort of very peaceful out sort of in the bay, whatever it is, yeah, or a rougher. Yeah, but so it's a little bit rougher, yeah. But is it a cold water? Is it hot water? All kinds of things can actually, the imagination, whatever actually gives you that imagination. It's not to say that you have to do it this way or that way. Whatever that imagination, what your unique imaginations are, I think will start to make a difference. Yeah. So, but think about different types of waves, and tell a story. It's like you were starting with a very calm sea, calm water, and then you're going to go through some stormy, maybe even, and then at the end it comes back. It's very calm, right? So it's a storytelling with the waves. Okay. So where would you like to go from? Okay. So what's the idea of the pizzicato here? What can the pizzicato, why pizzicato here? Can you enhance? Okay, we always have to get inside, we try to get inside the mind of the composer, right? So why pizzicato here?
Sort of an energy on that.
Yeah. And yeah, especially the one with 3 notes. Yeah, and it's not adding anything to the harmony when you do 2 notes or 3 notes because it's all unison octave, no, it's all double octaves, or octave, single octave or double octave. So then there has to be a meaning why he's doing one of them double octave and then the other one single octave, right? So make that difference. Let's just go da 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 da. It's actually 4 bars before 4. Yeah, okay. I would actually roll it a little bit so that we actually feel the 3 notes, yeah? Yeah. And actually, the cello always has such a wonderful way of doing the pizzicato. Yeah. Okay, and these transitions, okay, so you have to think about the transitions, different sections. How do you want to transition? Yeah, do you want to stop? Or do you want, like, sort of go right into it? This one you're stopping a little bit. And then in order to avoid that stop, actually, interestingly enough, again, you're probably going, if you want to take time, it's not going to be at the start, but it's going to be before. Yeah. 4? Okay, Sophia, let's use the fact that this is all he wants, all G string. Why? Again. Ooh. Okay, so can you make more use of the G string? How is it going to be different if you were to play this on the D string? Right? So then think what it's not. It's not on the G string. Right? It's not the sound of the D string. So what is it? The G string. Yeah? I would do. No. Okay, I would actually not be too light, yeah, not too light, but not so in the sounding point, but a little bit all. That's too clear, yeah? And then is it too light? So you need to be able to catch the sound. So you have to adjust the speed a little bit. Okay, so think of it as like in the water, you're trying to catch something, and it just keeps going further and further away in the syncopation. You're trying to catch something in the water, and you can't quite catch it. Yeah. Predict. More. Now, forte. Okay, so this is a totally different. So remember the beginning. If you actually play that against this, where the anima begins, and ta-da-da with your, ooh, what's happened to your color of your music? Okay, so it's the iPad? I see. Okay, so go from here. But what's the character? If you could play the beginning, yeah? Actually, the beginning is a violin, Sophia. And can you just start there and see what kind of difference you want? Okay, now yours, there. Where you start the waves. Yeah. Yeah, just by yourself, yeah? Okay, and then so Sophia, play the beginning again, just a one bar. Okay, now it's changed to this. Yeah, I think it's a little bit more energetic. Yeah, even though it's soft. Yeah. Can you play your melody? Yeah, so something, it's a little bit of different character, right? So reflect it, yeah? Okay, so pay attention. So we were talking earlier about the strokes, right? Some strokes had two notes and one, and you were thinking about it, and that actually made a very nice difference. Okay, now here actually we have contrast of the strokes, yeah? Ta, 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 and then pa, 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 da, pa, 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 with the dashes, yeah? And then the short, pa, pa, and then ta, da, legato. Right? If you could actually enhance that. We can't ignore all these details in Ravel because I think he really, really meant everything. Yeah. Sophia, can you give the cello, can you give Jakob a little bit more room to be more singing there? So it doesn't da. That's actually, he wants it very expressive. Yeah, and if you didn't have to actually be, so the violin sounds always like it's chasing a little bit here. You didn't have to worry about that. How would you want to play this? Yeah, and again, be freer, yeah, and take the time you want. Just play it exactly like you want, and then don't worry about having to be together. Don't worry about the rhythm. Just play it as you will, yeah? Just by yourself. Do it again. Okay, good. Once more. And break out of the mold, yeah? Do it the way you want, don't feel like you have to do anything a certain way. Do it the way you want. If you want to take time, if you want to move, yeah? Some places actually need a little bit more time. Okay, nice. So actually that energy that you have, yeah, that you want to actually make more, or make a little bit fatter, a little bit bigger, and slimmer, more direction, that idea, yeah, I want you to keep, that energy I want you to keep, that meaning I want you to keep, yeah? It's just that you're going to have to actually shrink it a little bit in terms of the timing, but the idea that you want to do this, that desire has to be there. Okay, so let's put it together. this actually, it's interesting, dovetails each other. And how connected or how actually more like an exchange do you want it? It's not clear to me what you want. It could be like one long line, like a seamless line, or it could be a little bit of an exchange. Yeah. Right now, I can't quite tell what it is that you're after. What would you like? Seamless? Okay. So in that case, actually, when we play sort of what we think of as sonatas, we often play with piano, right? And so we are constantly thinking about how do we adjust when we play these sonatas, how do we adjust to the other instrument, the piano, okay? And it's the same also when you're playing violin and cello. It's much closer relationship, yeah? But something about the ring, something about the resonance that you each have to help, most likely more from the violin than from the cello, okay? So to how to work with each other, yeah? There's always in the portion that we have to give in to the other instrument, right? Okay, and we do that when we're playing with piano, I think more often, and we're used to doing that. We are trained to do that, we're taught to do that, and we're told to do that. Okay, and I think also when you're playing with cello, it's the same, it's just the instrument is different, yeah? But it's the same kind of careful thought that it has to happen. Okay.
4 before Ravinia.
Okay, can you, that was better. Can you actually play the first note of the other person? Yeah, and then can you play the last note of the other person? So you're doubling actually, yeah? A little bit for just 2 notes. Yeah, do it. That last one was beautiful. Do it again. Yeah, so you understand. Yeah, now the second time you understand clearly what I've been asking you to do. So. Yeah, so ta da ta, you actually need to play the ta ta, and then you need to play her C sharp.
Should I play this note too?
Can you? Yeah, you can't play it low, so you can just sort of play higher up. And so the F sharp will be doubled, yeah, and the C sharp will be doubled. Okay, so that's the connection you want to have. Even though if you're not going to play that, you want to feel that sort of connection. Okay, so do it as written, but try to connect like that. Beautiful. Okay, good. Okay, good. Okay, so I think we are going to have to stop now. But yeah, this seamless thing, yeah, it's a great way of practicing. Yeah, and sort of dovetailing each other like that, if that is what you want. Yeah, and then just long line. Okay, great. Thank you.